Hey, welcome back to Ask Abundance. Today I'm joined by the lovely Rebecca Smith. Rebecca is a limitless practice grad who came aboard Team Abundance, and she has a premium fee private pay practice in New Orleans, and she is great at helping abundance therapists imagine what's possible for them. Here is today's question. She's going to give it to us.
Thanks, friend. Okay, this one says, I have been telling myself I'm going to drop my two biggest insurance panels for almost 2 years now. But every time I get close to pulling the trigger, I convince myself the timing isn't right or my practice will fall apart. I have a full caseload and I know the math probably works, but the fear feels bigger than the logic. How do therapists actually make this move in a real strategic way without watching their income crater in the process?
Mm.
That's
Yes,
for
and
real.
you and I both have a lot to say about this.
I do, yes.
Um, First, I want to thank our sponsor, TherapyNotes, though. I've talked about them for years, I know their features by heart, but what really sets them apart is that they genuinely care about your experience. It's not just about troubleshooting, though they'll do that too. They actively implement user-suggested features like therapy search, secure messaging, and their AI notes feature, Therapy Fuel. Everyone at Therapy Notes believes in the product and wants you to love it too. Plus, they're independently owned, which means no venture capital and no pressure to prioritize investors over customers. This independence allows them to keep their prices fair, to focus on innovation, and to prioritize their customer experience. With over 100,000 therapists already on board, they've proven that you don't have to compromise success for quality. If you're ready to see for yourself, you can try Therapy Notes free for 2 months with the code ABUNDANT at therapynotes.com. All right. Well, you have the most recent experience with this personally. Should we talk
I
about
do.
that?
Yes. But I find myself I'm like envious of this asker, this therapist, because I was only on one panel.
Right.
And
Hmm.
so when I went off insurance, it was like all or nothing. Like there was no cute little step down process. It was very like you have to just like jump.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that there's something cool about being able to kind of step down.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing I will say is it's the best thing I've ever done.
Hmm.
My life is so much better now. I was seeing 35 clients a week, sometimes even more. It was truly bananas.
Hmm.
And I'm making way more now, seeing usually about 20 clients a week.
Hmm.
And that's much. It's ridiculous how lovely that is. Uh, and I think that like figuring the thing that I'm looking at here is like, and maybe this is a question for you, is the timing ever right?
No, I mean, I think the
That
timing was right in 2021.
RIP 20. That would have been nice.
That would have been really nice for the
God.
people who are asking today. I mean, in 2021, I was like, yeah, let's rip off his Band-Aid. Let's just get off insurance.
Man.
Like when I was advising people, it was a very different conversation than it is now, where I approach it very conservatively with people. And I do this mainly with our limitless practice folks, as you know, who are people they're full and they're wanting to make a big change. And for a lot of them, that is getting off insurance panels. And
Yeah.
so I'm coming in with like, okay, let's look at how many people are on each of the insurance panels you're on, if they're on multiple, and how do we which one's the biggest pain in the ass? Which one
That
pays?
is, yes. Which,
Uh,
how will your life be better? Make your
right.
life better faster. Yeah.
Yes. And still the problem is, even if you're just on one insurance panel, it's really easy to get full just with that one insurance if that is a large payer in your area or in your state.
Hmm.
There was a time when Blue Cross Blue Shield had like 90% of North Carolina. It doesn't anymore, but it was like basically everybody had Blue Cross Blue Shield. So if you
Yeah.
wanted to take insurance, like you were golden. If you didn't want to take, like, it didn't matter if you got off Cigna because nobody had it anyway. So kind of the situation you were in, which was rocky, we should say.
Yeah. It was.
It was rocky in the moment, but you had, because you were in Limitless, like built out what your marketing strategy was and you were implementing it.
Absolutely. And I also will say that my previous plan had been I'm excited for this person that they feel like they're ready to drop the panel because similar, I was on Blue Cross Blue Shield. Everybody had Blue Cross Blue Shield. So even if I wanted to try to like build up my private pay side, even people who were willing to pay me a private pay rate already had Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Hmm.
I was tied into that system anyway.
Right.
And so it really was the only way to take control of my practice.
Hmm.
And it was rocky at first. I won't say it wasn't. And I also needed to realize that like I had to lose clients. I was so scared to not see 35 a week.
Right. Even though
And
your goal was to see fewer. Hmm.
sometimes life is complicated, Allison.
I know, I
I'm a
know. I
complicated person.
remember.
And but now it's so funny. Now, when I talk to people who are thinking about doing Limitless, I don't know if I told you this, but the way I describe it is I was like, it's like somebody's holding your hand and pushing you off a cliff at the same time.
That's kind of how I am with everyone everywhere. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's scary. And having
mhm.
somebody else, like knowing that I had you and my limitless practice friends who were like not only going to be so supportive and so knowledgeable, but also they were gonna like let me know if I came in the next week and didn't do the thing.
Right,
Like,
right.
because there never is a right time. The timing is never going to be right.
Hmm.
Your practice falling apart is a very broad statement.
Right.
That seemed like did I decrease probably a bit lower than I wanted to? Yes.
Hmm.
And then I built back up. Did my practice fall apart? No. Like eh, it changed. And I rebuilt it in a much better way. But it was not a death sentence to my practice.
Right. And it really like it allowed you to have an actual life and to be more the mom you want to be and be able to be like the friend and the partner and all these things
I
that
took a nap yesterday,
I
Allison,
love
in the
it.
middle of the day.
Good.
It was
Good.
great. It was great. I think that the final question, how do therapists actually make this move? How do therapists actually make this move is one part of it in a real strategic way
Hmm.
without watching their income crater. How do they make this move? They just freaking jump.
Yeah. I mean, I think you
Like,
do need to plan. Like you need to know how to market first. A lot of
yes.
people on insurance have never had to market. And so you need to, like, one of the things we talk about in Limitless is like not just know how to market, but to be actually actively doing it and troubleshooting. And in Limitless, it's great because, like, I can be like, okay, this is good and this is not good. Here's how to shift
Yeah.
it. And you've got your Limitless folks saying the same thing who
Yeah.
have, varied experience as well. But this is like, this is not a you just get off the panel because
Mm-mm.
that would be freaking terrifying for
Truth. Thank
anybody.
you.
It's
Yeah.
like make sure you know what you're doing to get clients in the door so that they want to see you no matter what. They don't care that it's private pay because they have this problem and you are so niched and so specific about their daily lived experience in your marketing that you were the one for them.
Yeah. I'm so the niche is what I was about to bring up too, is like you have to have the marketing in place and you have to have a niche that really works for you, that is like needle thin.
Hmm.
And that other people, not just the client, but probably other clinicians or other people, other referral sources, will be relieved to hear you say, "They're, oh my God, we found her. We can send all those people to her."
Hmm.
God, right? So it's not like, so it's a very specific niche that's like calling out, "I am your person."
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's a service to be niched.
Yeah.
Truly. Like it makes people feel hope when they find you. So it's not just to be niche, but to also market so they can find you and feel relief and hope.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that for, like I said, for the potential client and also for the referral sources,
Hmm.
like nobody, like if your niche is like people who really like therapy, like nobody's gonna like send like if your niche is like my niche is, there's a lot more to it, but one of the big parts of my niche is OCD, and having so many other therapists who are like, "Oh God, yes, I will." You do
Hmm.
the exposures with them. I'm like, "Thank you, send them my way."
Yeah.
If you have something that other people are excited to send you, it becomes a lot easier to get off insurance.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like I just had a call, was it today actually, with a potential client for my practice, working specifically with business owners. And she was like, everything on your website is exactly what I'm going through. And like most therapists don't understand the demands of owning a business. And like I needed to find somebody who gets that, who's also a mom, who's also, I think she had like entered a bunch of stuff into ChatGPT and ended up
Uh-huh.
finding me because she's like, I want somebody
Wow.
who's a mom. I want somebody who's owned businesses. I want somebody.
Like, well,
And
there
I'm
we
like,
go.
all right, here I am.
Well, and I think it's funny because I feel like so much of the time, this is where our conversations turn. Is like, this is how marketing can be really great. And this is why having a niche is so vital. Whether the question is dropping insurance or moving to a new town and building a new practice or raising my rates or whatever, it all funnels down to that principle. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, we do have a free worksheet today. It is things you don't need for a private pay practice because sometimes maybe you get to the point where you're like, okay, this is going to be the thing that I do. I like this idea. And then like you've got your gumption up to do it, but then you're like, oh, but I've got to have a really fancy office or I've got to have a really, so these are like, this is going to set you straight. So you guys can get that free worksheet in the show notes if you're listening on the pod or in the, you can say the word sheets if you're on social media and I'll get it to you. All right, cool. I'll see you next week.
See you then.